Hello guys, I hope you had some nice festivities despite the COVID regulations and made the best out of the holidays and New Year's Eve. Today I want to talk a little about a book I really love and that I think everyone should read at one point in their lives, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. In a nutshell, this best-selling 1997 book written by Robin Sharma is about a fictional character who gave up his luxurious lawyer life to live a more centered, mindful and most importantly happier one. Although you could call it a self-help book, it's not one of the usual ones. I will tell you the fable and then I'll quickly go over each of the 7 elements and explain their meaning. I obviously won't be able to do the book justice with a quick video like this, so you should definitely read the book yourself. You won't regret it. And check out our top 10 list on other books you should read as well. It's also included in there. Picture the following scene. You are sitting in the middle of a magnificent, lush, green garden. This garden is filled with the most spectacular flowers you have ever seen. The environment is supremely tranquil and silent. Savor the sensual delights of this garden and feel as if you have all the time in the world to enjoy this natural oasis. As you look around, you see that in the center of this magical garden stands a towering red lighthouse, 6 stories high. Suddenly, the silence of the garden is disturbed by a loud creaking as the door at the base of the lighthouse opens. Out stumbles a 9 feet tall, 900 pounds Japanese sumo wrestler wearing nothing but a pink wire cable covering his private parts. As this sumo wrestler starts to move around the garden, he finds a shiny gold stopwatch that someone left behind many years earlier. He slips it on and falls to the ground, unconscious, silent and still. Just when you think he has taken his last breath, the wrestler awakens. Perhaps stirred by the fragrance of some fresh yellow roses blooming nearby. He looks at them and he is startled by what he sees. Through the bushes at the very edge of the garden, he observes a long winding path covered by millions of sparkling diamonds. Something seems to instruct the wrestler to take the path, and to his credit he does. This path leads him down to the road of everlasting joy and eternal bliss. Remember the fable, carry it within you and your life will be elevated to new heights, mentally, emotionally, physically and spiritually. If you always keep the essence of the fable and the 7 elements close to your heart, you will know what I mean. Now let me explain. Number 1. The garden. Master your mind. First, let's talk about the garden. It's meant to represent our inner life, which includes our emotions, our dreams and desires, and most importantly our thoughts. Notice how the garden, the home to all events, is described as magnificent, lush and green, and not as rotten to its core. Hopefully, you can agree that what's going on in our minds directly correlates with how our life is going and that mental health is essential to function well. This is also where thoughts come into play, because the quality of your life is directly determined by the quality of your thoughts. If you practice channeling all your energy into mastering your thoughts, you'll feel like you've just unlocked a new superpower. We have no control over what happens to us in life. The things we think we have control over are usually just reactions to what's already been determined by other forces. Number 2. The lighthouse. Follow your purpose. We hear it all over social media, in everyday conversations, and we've even talked a lot about it in our other blog posts. Follow your passion, pursue your dreams, etc. Phrases like these are thrown around so much that they've begun to lose their original meaning. If you're looking for lasting fulfillment, then we have to do what's right for us. Lasting fulfillment comes from pursuing clearly defined personal, spiritual and professional goals. We only have one shot at making this life worth, so why not spend that time doing something we actually like doing, or at least trying it. Number 3. The sumo wrestler. Practice Kaizen. Kaizen is an old Japanese word for continuous improvement. Nowadays it's usually applied to business, but it can also be for an individual. Always seeking to improve and always trying to be a little better than we were yesterday are very honorable attributes to have. This is easier said than done though. Trying to change our life as a whole and achieve mastery almost certainly leads to failure. We simply tire out pretty quickly and get overwhelmed by the task at hand. If you build in these 10 habits in your daily life and are consistent with it, you can't help but to feel better. First, solitude, being okay with yourself. Second, physicality, exercising. Third, nourishment, eating well. Fourth, abundant knowledge, reading every day. Fifth, personal reflection, regularly reflect on your own situations. 6th, early awakening, win the morning and you win the day. 7th, music, because great music is incredible. 8th, spoken word, get rid of the negative, positive affirmations only. 9th, congruent character, stay true to yourself. And 10th, simplicity, most times less is more. Number 4, the wire cable, living with discipline. Nowadays, discipline has become a weird term. When we hear people talking of discipline, it's usually the David Goggins kind of discipline, where one has to grind through their day, not stopping until we have everything ticked off our to-do lists. Reward comes in the form of punishment and more stuff that all sounds really exhausting. So what happened? Actually, we don't have to be right all the time, we just have to be right most of the time to make huge progress. Think of it like the wire cables that hold up huge bridges. They're not just a few really thick cables that hold everything together. No, every single wire cable is made of dozens or even hundreds of smaller interwoven cables that are stronger than the sum of their parts when combined. Small actions compound over time and become habits that can either work for us or against us. Number 5, the stopwatch, respect your time. Things like possessions and money come and go. We go to work so we can earn money that we can spend on things or experiences, and sometimes parts of it gets even invested. Time is different, it doesn't come, it just goes. Time is the most precious asset we have because it's non-renewable. Everyone has a set amount, 24 hours per day, and for some that supply expires sooner than for others. We never know when that expiration date comes. That's why we should respect our time more than anything else and have the courage to say no to spend it wisely. Number 6, the roses. Selflessly serve others. The quality of your life ultimately comes down to the quality of your contribution. It doesn't matter if it's about personal fitness, business decisions, or major international geopolitics. We base most of our decisions on what we want and what's best for us, but being kind to others never hurts. Practice daily acts of kindness, give to those who ask, and cultivate richer relationships. That's what it's all about. What's the point of anything if we simply keep it to ourselves? Always remember, if others are doing well, you'll be doing well too. A joy shared becomes twice the joy and a sorrow shared becomes half the sorrow. Number 7, the diamond path, embrace the present. Modern society has a pretty short attention span, myself included of course. We are always looking for something new, always looking to avoid boredom of any kind, and if you think about it, we are encouraged to not live in the now. While it's normal and essential to do this, we often forget to cherish the moment in the process. And it's not even that complicated. Life's short. If you see a crush, go right up to them and then simply walk past because it's probably not worth it. But all kidding aside, you know where I'm going with this. And yeah people, that's all there is basically. This is of course a really broad summary of the most important factors of this book. I highly recommend you to buy it. The link is in the description below. It's a really relaxing read and you will have a lot of fun going through it. If you can take one thing with you, I want it to be that you understand that the present is all there is. We don't live in the future and the past only exists in our memories. If you sleep 8 hours a day, life is made up of 16 hours that are remaining, and constantly focusing on that can help you not to get lost in the bigger picture. I think no one said it better than Master Uguay from Kung Fu Panda. 2021 is time for improvement and I've given you some food for thought. Now it's up to you what you do with your time. See you next time and until then, stay healthy.